welcome back to Rolling History. I know it's been a while since I made a video. I've just had so many things come up that it took precedence over the car. I had to put in a septic system, went to Boy Scout camp with my kids, and we're working on a new catalog at work, so it just kind of took all of my time. So I finally had a chance to make another video, putting the rear end, putting the differential back together. Hopefully I'll be able to do a couple more videos a month. I'm still a little bit busy. Obviously we're going to not make it by September, so we're going to have to go next year, May, June-ish, which won't be too bad because it'll be a little bit cooler, and I'll like that better. But anyways, yeah, I've just been doing other projects and haven't had a chance to work on the car. So today I got a little time, did a little work on it, and it's amazing how much you forget in just a couple months. I had to search for all the pieces, search for all the parts that I had set aside. You know, you put them in a spot where you go, I won't forget where this is, and then you have to go looking for it. Well, that happened. It took me probably twice as long to find everything as it did to make a video. So anyways, things are still on track. We're gonna have to just postpone a little bit, and that's just the way it is. You know, it would have been fun to go next month, but the car's just not gonna make it. Not the car's fault, it's my fault. I just didn't have time. And so anyways, check out the video, and we'll see you next time. Okay, I got everything cleaned up. It all looks pretty good. There's just one spot or two spots inside this little housing where the little spiral gear kind of was sitting there too long and kind of rusted a little bit. So I'm going to polish that out a little bit, and I think it'll be just fine. Okay, so I finally got all the things together to put my rear end back together. And it was, I've tried to make this video a couple times, but every time that I get ready to do it, there's something else that I need or I'm missing. So I'm just going to walk you through some of the problems, and then we'll get to putting it back together, and hopefully it won't take too long. We'll have the rear end back together. Okay, problem number one was right here where the key fits in. On the original shaft, it was cracked all the way down and around here. So we considered welding it, but welding and machining it just seemed like it was going to be too much trouble. So I went on a hunt and I found a new shaft. Well, actually this is my second shaft. The first one was great on this end, and then the other end was kind of rusty, so I decided not to use that one. So I finally got a new shaft, and then I went to put it in, and I found that the bearing races were just horrible. All the hard plating was off of them, and this one was pitted really bad. So I had to find a new set of bearings. Unfortunately, on this big one, I couldn't find the actual bearing. I could only find the race. So the bearing is actually in pretty good shape. Let me see if I can't pull it out here real quick. The bearing itself is not in bad shape. There's a couple little spots on it, but all in all, it's not too bad. And I was able to find a new race for it, and that looks really good. So that's what we're gonna do. Now, over here, I have all the transmission or all the rear end pieces cleaned up. I put those hardened bolts in the rear end on the ring gear. Hopefully that's gonna help me out. Hopefully I don't break any. There was a little bit of wear, but it's not too bad. I talked to some people about it and they said they think it'll be just fine. So let's try and get this thing put back together. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is we're looking into the torque tube here, and I need to get a bearing put way back inside there. So I made myself a little tool to turn the bearing in, or the little lock that holds the bearing. As you can see, I got those two little tabs there, and on my tool I got those two little tabs, so it goes on just like that. And then I drilled a hole in the other end so I could put a rod through it and turn it in. Let's find out how that works. Okay, as you can see, I got the first bearing in there with that little retainer, and it wasn't too bad when it first started going in and when it's finished, but right here, when it got to about right there, man, that thing was stuck. It didn't want to go, and it took every bit of my strength to get it through there. Those threads must be kind of messed up right there, but I don't really know of any way I'm gonna be able to fix them. But it went through, and then it started working again really nice, so I think we're all right. So the tool kind of worked. It wore itself out a little bit on the ends there, but it's really just a piece of pipe that I cut those grooves in, so it's not really anything I spent too much time on. So it did the job, and let me get the other bearing in there. All right, second bearing went in pretty easy, along with that other retainer right there. So there's a little plate that comes up on top of this right here, and locks those in place once you adjust them. So I just need to pull the shaft through right now, put the keyway in, and bolt on the pinion gear, and then I can put the rest of the differential together. So let me do that, and I'll try and get it in a different position where I have some room so I can film the rest of it. Okay, I got the bearings in, and I put the keyway in and then slid the pinion gear on the end. I had to adjust these things pretty much all the way back to get the key in there, and now I'm gonna have to adjust them back the other way. But I'm gonna put the rest of the pumpkin together, because I'm sure that's the way that you adjust the gear meshing. So I'm going to turn this thing. I'm going to try to turn it to where I can just set up the tripod and we can watch the whole thing. So that's what I'm going to do next.
Sorry about that. Didn't realize that was right in the way. Till now. Get all these back inside here. Guess I'm way ahead of myself here. I just noticed something else that I forgot to do. I'm gonna have to tighten that pinion gear on there, or this won't last too long. It'll just come off somewhere, probably at the worst time. Well, I guess there's not really a good time. At least for that to happen. Alright, I got all these little cotter pins back in. Okay. All right, thanks for watching this episode of Rolling History. I still have to find out about the clearance there in the gears. I want to make sure that I have that set correctly. I didn't really think I was going to have time to work on it this weekend, so I didn't kind of do my homework on that part of it, but the time became available, so I went for it, and I just have to make that adjustment later. I have the engine, we've got some problems with the engine. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but the original block is no good. I did find another one in Arizona, and that's over at a shop getting some work done on it. It's outside of my realm. It's some boring, and going to need Babbitt also, so it's going to be a long, drawn-out process to get the engine back together. But hopefully my next video will get the rear end all put back together so it'll be ready to go back in the car. We have the front end ready to go, all the springs are ready to go, all the hangers are ready to go, the frame is ready to go. So sometime in the near future we'll be able to put the frame and the rear end, the front end, the transmission, put it all back in there and be waiting for the engine. That shouldn't happen too long from now, so stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.